Hey, don't look now. I was looking at the schedules far too early, but we were talking about USC. I was just looking at Oregon State's schedule. Boy, there's a real chance they are. I'll be conservative and say 5-2 in their first 7 games, possibly 6-1. Outside shot at 7-0. You looked at their sched? They open with Eastern Washington. Insert joke here, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Sac State again.
That won't happen. Then they play Hawaii at home. They are at Utah. Never easy. Yeah. But, they should.
Rice Eccles is a tough place to play, but you get them early in the season. They have a lot of turnover going on there.
This just in, their quarterback got hurt again.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Seems like their quarterback's always hurt. Don't you think?
Uh-huh.
And even if he isn't hurt, is he any good?
That's going to be. They have a lot to fill with, especially Star Lutulele.
Yeah,
leaving on the defensive line. I mean, we're talking about a guy who a lot of people before his heart condition came up thought he was going to be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I see this is why it's so dangerous to do this game. I don't. I assume that Oregon State should win at Utah, but we haven't really. Hell, they haven't even started spring ball yet. Then they're at San Diego State.
Win.
I don't know. Then they host Colorado.
Win.
At Washington State.
Win.
At Cal.
Win?
Yeah, those are their first 7 games. That's manageable. You want to talk about manageable? That's manageable. For the Beavs.
Way to start the season.
And their new look. I'll tell you, I like how the schedule's set up for both the Beavers and the Ducks this year.
Could be another exciting run.
For who?
Both here in the state of Oregon. I mean, it was great heading into November and having 2 of the best teams in college football right here.
That was awesome. You remember when Suk was saying, so they beat, Oregon State comes out and they beat Wisconsin, and then they win the UCLA game, and then they win at Arizona. They pulled that game out, and they were 3-0. And at that point, Sukanik was saying, albeit 3 games in, that they were going to be 8-0 going into the Stanford game.
Yeah. And
they were 7-1, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of more of the same. You look at this schedule, now that we trust, because last year we didn't know what to expect from Oregon State at all. But now that we trust that they're back, and this is more like what we're going to get from Oregon State. You look at their schedule, at worst 5-2 out of the gate next year, and I'm being conservative. Maybe 6-1, maybe 7-0 going into Stanford. And who knows what Stanford does? Maybe they drop off. There's a lot of unknowns in the Pac-12 this year.
Again, for another year, though, I think we all know what Colorado's going to be, because McIntyre, he's gonna need a lot more time there. Washington State, you'd think would be much improved in year 2.
They should bump up.
And then Cal, completely unknown. Rich Rod in Arizona, that he's going to start turning things around. Looked like it was really good. He had another great recruiting class down there this year. He's going to start turning things around there because he's getting his guys in. Todd Graham, that's another unknown, because with Todd Graham, he hasn't stuck around long enough for anybody to know how good they are.
Yeah, this is his longest tenure, right? Yeah. 2 years. Hey, they have good coaches and good races. I mean, the ante has been raised by this new TV deal and stuff. These teams are taking the plunge. They're hiring good coaches, and this is it's a war, man. It's a battle. It's going to be a battle for Oregon to stay on top.
But it does look good for the Oregon schools in the Pac-12 North. Most of the unknowns are in the South as well.
Yeah. Our poll question today at 1080thefan.com. What do you think of Oregon State's new look? I approve or I do not approve. So far, 84% of you say I approve, which to me is the overwhelming majority.
And that
I agree with that.
That's the overall consensus of the world.
The whole world says that.
Yeah, because it is at 1080thefan.com.
Yeah.
It's a good sample of how the entire world feels about it.
I agree. There are always the people that we were talking about this earlier. People who are pre-programmed to hate anything new. That just exists, and it exists a lot in all walks of life. There are always going to be people that hate it, but I think it's clean, it's simple, it's cool, it's sleek, and it fits Oregon State. It represents them well. It's not too outlandish, and they will look good come the Sacramento State game. Or no, Eastern Washington game.
We don't bring up Sacramento State in these parts.
So we both like him. I don't know if anybody at the station doesn't like him. I know Demers is really our uniform czar.
Why?
He is so into that.
Well, yeah, but
he breaks it down. I mean, he breaks it down. He's looking at all the little facets of it. Look, I just look at it and go, that looks cool or that doesn't look cool. I think it looks cool. All of it. The orange one especially is phenomenal in my opinion.
The orange one does look good. I will be interested to see if they mix and match any of the combos.
I assume that they would.
Because the orange jersey with the white pants would be a good look as well.
So you have 3 helmets, 3 pants, 3 jerseys.
Yeah.
You could do any combination of the 3, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a really clean look. They did a great job with it.
Absolutely. We also interviewed Todd Van Horn, who is the guy who headed it up for Nike. He's a creative design director, the VP there for football. They did the NFL stuff too, which I'm really interested to see if any of the NFL brands change their look like the Seahawks did, because they came out pretty soft, pretty classic with most of the NFL brands, except for the Seahawks. And so I wonder if NFL teams can do the same. But Nike's always hit a home run for the most part with these types of things. He said the way this all sort of goes down is at Nike, what they do is because Oregon State already has an apparel contract with Nike. Although I think that story by Mike Riley is really interesting when he's talking about basically a buy 2, get 1 free deal was their first deal with Nike in 1998. That's not that long ago.
And that is what small schools have.
Yeah.
Small schools have better deals than that now.
And that's, I think it's all evolved now. But still, I mean, just think about that. It wasn't that long ago. Riley comes back to Oregon State, and he just literally calls him. He's like, look, can you get me some stuff? And Nike's always great in this way. And so they have an 8-year deal with Oregon State, and all the schools that they have a deal with, they do offer, Todd Van Horn said this on the show earlier, he said they offer them the big one-time redesign. Now, I think for Oregon State, what I gathered is they did this they did him a solid. I mean, he said it was a pro bono thing. Mm-hmm. Arizona State went through with it, and I'm sure that, there's a deal worked out. They have to pay for it or this or that. But Nike will go to the schools that they have, and they'll only do a few, 1 a year, 2 a year, whatever. And if the school is on board and they want to go through with the complete overhaul and redesign, then they'll go through with it. And Oregon State got lucky enough to be one of those schools. And I think it's great for that university. It really is. It's great for Oregon State that they got this, and the uniforms look really good. If you have not seen them, they are up on our Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/1080thefan, you can comment on them there. So far on our website, 85% of you say you approve of them. It's a good look. And, I just think, Nike does this, and they did it with Arizona State recently. Of course, what they've done with Oregon is unprecedented, and nobody will get that kind of access. But this is a one-time thing for Oregon State, even though they're a Nike school. And I just don't see any reason why you turn that down if you're Oregon State, and they knew that. I think some schools probably do turn it down. I don't know who all has Nike contracts, but I'm guessing some schools say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We love our look. We have a classic look. We're not going to change anything. Or some schools, maybe it's a financial thing that they don't want to pay for. But at Oregon State, when they're offering something like this up, you jump on it, and they did. It's great.
I think one of the things that's being overlooked and a lot of people don't necessarily pick up on because you don't know is when Mike Riley said we are a preferred Nike school. And a preferred Nike school is the most extensive package that you can get. So for people that say, Nike doesn't care about Oregon, they were concerned about that. Oregon State, a preferred Nike school, you get more things than most other colleges that even wear a swoosh get. I mean, preferred Nike schools, you're talking USC, Miami, Texas, Duke, Syracuse.
Oregon.
Oregon's on a different planet. It's a very, very elite few that are preferred Nike schools. Alabama would be one too.
Right. Well, they've done it. The rebrand is out. They have Hannibal Lecter face masks.
They're cool.
I think they're great. Some people don't. There are two criticisms that they're getting, other than old fuddy-duddy fear-monger guy who just hates anything new. One is they put the hip hip hooray, Mike Riley, in his little hip hip hooray thing that he does.
I love that.
They put that on the socks.
I love that.
What, hip hip on one leg and then
Hooray
on the other. And he told us a story in an interview from earlier today how that got started. It goes back to the CFL in the 80s. But so some people are saying that's kind of cheesy. Why'd you do that? Well, I think it's great too. I'm with you. And then the other one is the face masks. If you look at them, it's actually beaver teeth, which seems kind of like a cheesy concept. But you actually see, especially the black helmet, you notice that helmet. It looks like a Hannibal Lecter mask. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It looks tough. It
does. It's a cool look, and I think that one of the things that Oregon fans are saying is, "Oh, you're copying the Ducks with that," because they had the dipped helmet where the face mask is two tones exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is kind of just taking it to another level and actually incorporating it as a feature design of the helmet. It was just kind of part of the face mask at Oregon. This is a feature design, and that it is the beaver teeth.
Very cool. Home run. It's 5:32. You can text your thoughts. What do you think of it? Text me 55305.